Hello there. The week's big stories in Europe. 4 minutes to whistle through them and off we go with, first of all, shockwaves through the continent as English clubs win European football matches. Yep. The first was Chelsea on Tuesday at the expense of Roberto Mancini's Galatasaray. Mancini was furious at his team's performance. Turkish verdict though, it's your fault, Mancini, with your systems. Photomac, meanwhile, the next day with a wistful front page echoing a famous Turkish tune, Mancho here singing, "Is this to be my destiny?" Next up on Wednesday was Man United Olympiakos, where the multi-titled club was facing a shock exit at the hands of the Minnows. And that's exactly what happened. Olympiakos going out, goal calling it diabolical, stopped by De Gea and the grandeur of Giggs. Foss goes with unlucky, live sport, who the day before the game had done a big 300 thing, turned out to be as gutted as the Spartans themselves, with, on Thursday morning, Waterloo. Shocking exit, they say, at the hands of the worst Man United team in decades. They blame childish mistakes of the defence for gifting United their goals. Gavros, though, said it wasn't the Greeks bearing gifts, but this man, Bjorn Kuipers, the referee, under the headline, "We'll never lose faith." They say, a son of a bitch from Holland stole our rightful place in the quarters. He gave everything to the English. 2 yellow cards for us in the first 9 minutes and breaking our balls until the final minute. And that was never a penalty. Well, it kind of was, actually. But anyway, no Greek sides then in the final 8. The draw for which should be very exciting because, as the Spanish press pointing out, marker here with the best draw in the world, this will be the first time in Champions League history that all 8 group winners have actually made it through to the quarterfinals. Ooh. Well, looking forward to seeing those draws, but next up we'll move on to Uli Hoeness, the man with more bad tax news than George Osborne. You recall last week the Bayern president sentenced to 3.5 years in jail, 1.5 years of which he'll actually serve apparently, for 27.2 million euros of tax evasion. Well, this week things got even worse for Uli. First of all, instead of an easygoing open celebrity-style prison, turns out he's going to be sent to this place here, Fortress Landsberg, as Bild call it, where he'll have to share space, and as Die Welt points out, the showers too, with murderers. Still, beats sitting next to Matthias Sammer. The other is the growing suggestion that last week's case is actually just the tip of the iceberg. Now, you'll also remember that Hoeness waited until the eve of the trial to present police with 70,000 pages of documents. German press now asking if anyone's truly examined these yet, after both Stern and the Swiss paper Tages Anzeiger published allegations by an anonymous Swiss, with personal experience of bank accounts there. It's USEP, isn't it? Claiming that the balance of the Hoeness account sometimes reached as much as 600 million Swiss francs, which is about 400 million pounds. Well, asked Die Welt, picking up the story in Germany, where did this money come from? And what is the role of Adidas? With payments, says the paper, apparently coming in just before the sportswear giants became Bayern's sponsors. Well, of course, if they'd waited, they'd have seen the Bayern president wearing stripes for free, as it turns out. Anyway, more on that story as it develops. For now, let's finish with Milan. Everybody else's. Last weekend, the Rossoneri crashing to their 4th straight defeat at home to Parma, getting besieged by angry supporters at San Siro, who then in turn allegedly got told by manager Clarence Seedorf, "Don't blame me. The reason is that 3/4 of this team just isn't good enough." Well, now, say the Italian papers, even Seedorf's principal patron, Silvio Berlusconi, has had enough. Corriere dello Sport on Thursday, Seedorf, it's all over. Gazzetta dello Sport that same day, Berlusconi gives him a week's notice. The line here is that if the next 2 games go badly and they're humdingers with Lazio and Fiorentina, Seedorf will be paid off and Milan would move on to their 3rd manager of the season, which would be the first time this ever happened in their history. Former striker Pippo Inzaghi is the next in line to be the fall guy, something you may feel he's perfectly suited for, of course. Well, anyway, not sure about Clarence then, but I'm certainly not here next week. I'm off for 7 days. Do enjoy your break then. I'll be seeing you in a fortnight's time.